This right here is going to be a D&U Strag Tales mashup, and it's actually going to be my first one of the year. And these two more than qualified for it. So in this picture, you see two people. On the left, you see a woman by the name of Ariel Robinson, and on the right is her husband, Jerry Robinson. And if you didn't know who she was on this Food Network show called Worst Cooks in America. I've heard of the show, but I never watched it. But she was a contestant on that show. They said season 20 of the show. So the show has had a long run. And they said she was the champion, so she won the show. So she has some notoriety. But anyway, she's about to be notorious for something else. And I'm not talking about being the worst person in the kitchen, but I'm talking about probably one of the worst people on the planet. So these two right here actually had a 3-year-old daughter, not biologically theirs, but they adopted. And I believe that the little girl was a PC girl. And both of them have been charged with this girl's murder. Now, I don't know how they did it. I don't know all the details yet, but we about to get into it and see what else we can find out. And by the way, this article is coming from Deadline, posted on January 23rd, 2021. The Food Network has scrubbed its latest season of the reality series Worst Cooks in America after its champion has been arrested for child murder. Ariel Robinson, aged 29, was charged Tuesday along with her husband, Jerry Robinson, in the death of a 3-year-old girl in South Carolina. They face counts of homicide by child abuse and the death of their adopted daughter. On January 14th, police found an unresponsive child at the couple's home in Simpsonville, South Carolina. Television station WHNS reported the girl died as a result of several blunt force injuries, a medical examination revealed. She was identified as Victoria Smith, according to the Greenville station. Ariel won $25,000 in the latest edition of the Worst Cooks in America, a competition between people with admittedly poor cooking skills. They go through a boot camp under celebrity chef supervision in the competition. The Food Network has scrubbed all content related to season 20 of the show. The competition was filmed in February 2020 and aired last year. The Food Network has yet to comment on the Robinson incident. The content is not available on the Food Network's Discovery Plus, Hulu, or YouTube page, but episode summaries are still available on the official website. Robinson was a recently retired teacher and budding stand-up comedian. She also added 3 foster children to her family in March 2020 after the series taping, but it's not clear if the murdered child was one of them. Well, could you imagine that these are foster children that they put into their home and they already killed one of them? Well, they didn't specify that the one of the 3 that they added was one of the children, but still. It's pretty damn evident that these two right here don't need kids. But that just shows you right there that, don't go off of what's on the surface. And I'm going to tell you this. If I was a contestant on that show, I would be so pissed because that means that's exposure that I lost because of these two right here. And she won the competition. That's the crazy part. She won the competition. $25,000. And she pulls this crap. And she pulls this. And on top of that, she killed a little white girl. I did find out that it, like I said, was a little white girl. So you already know. They're going to throw the book at both of these fools. And it happened in South Carolina too. I never heard of Simpsonville, South Carolina before. That's a new one to me. But yeah, that's crazy. And it's wild. We always hear so many stories about these parents, if you want to call that, these foster parents who adopt these children and they be treating them like crap, like treating them like slaves and sexual abuse and all kinds of stuff like that. It reminds me of Devontae Hart and his family. When I think of situations like this, it's crazy. These kids go through so much to try to get into a good home, and they go through worse in the home they got adopted into than they were when they were probably in the system. It's crazy. And I've heard horror stories about those group homes. Man, be blessed if you've never had to go through that, because I've heard horror stories when it comes to group homes. I remember when I was working at my job a couple years ago when they had a basketball game, and on one night they decided to have kids from a group home come, and they were in my section. yeah, those kids go through it. And you got to think that a lot of these kids come from homes where their parents are on drugs, abusive parents, alcoholism, sexual abuse, all kinds of things. And then they get lumped in with a bunch of other children or other kids who go through the same thing or worse. And imagine all the clashing that goes on. And it's like, it's hard to function. But then imagine you get out of that situation, hopes for a better life, and you end up with parents like these two. Like, no escape whatsoever. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. If you haven't done so already, please text the number that is pinned down in the comments below so you can receive notifications every time I upload a new video, and I'll talk to you in the next one.